In this video, we will be reviewing the Science EA by Mr. Vladimir Lekovitzer. Stick around to the end to see if this is a real EA worth your time or just another MQL5 scam. This video is sponsored by Prosperity Algo and our free Golden Time Bomb Expert Advisor. Do you want to make 100+% annual returns through automating the London breakout and the opening range breakout? Then click the link in the description. So I wanted to make this review almost as a follow-up to the Prismal Gold Expert Advisor review I made, which is also done by the same seller. Because interestingly enough, I made that review and I was rather impressed by the live signal, and the bot seemed to be winning a bit too much, but I thought that a big contributing factor to that would have been a bit of overfitting to gold's bullish period in the previous year. But what was really interesting is as soon as I published the review, a bunch of people were leaving in the comments saying that this gentleman is maybe not the best expert advisor developer, and he has come and gone from the marketplace a few times, and sometimes the bots are not exactly great. There might be a bit of manipulation going on. So because of that, and because there was quite a overwhelming community support saying guys, you should be a bit careful, I wanted to perhaps review some of his other bots as well as go into detail into some of the signals to effectively see what's going on here and if this is something which people should be mindful of. So here again, he's showing another bot, and this one trades EuroGBP. And somebody in the comments had mentioned that he previously had also produced EuroGBP bots, which ended up doing quite poorly over the long term. And here he says that it's been optimized on IC Market Standard account for 14 years, and it targets high profitability. So apart from that, we don't really have a ton of information regarding how this bot works. And what was quite interesting and what got me excited last time is looking at the live signals. So if we go to his live signal page here, we can see another very impressive, but not overly super martingale-esque perfect equity curve either. But what was quite neat, after I received all those comments telling me hey, the signals might not be all that they seem, I did a bit more looking into it. And specifically, if you look at the actual broker here, Leverate, Leverate is not a broker. Leverate is a white label provider for brokerages. So this could mean that perhaps he's essentially licensing software to manage a broker, or he created some sort of pseudo broker to be able to manipulate the signals. But the fact that his brokerage isn't actually a brokerage, it's a software provider to brokers. Maybe they do have a broker and I'm just missing something, but that seems a bit odd to me, right? Because the main thing that he's got going for him is his bots have super good live signals, but those live signals are coming from a technology provider, not from a broker, which is quite fishy in my opinion. So something to keep in mind, the live signals here might not be super trustworthy. Moreover, if he's optimizing on IC Market Standard, then why is he showing a signal which is on Leverate and not IC Markets? It's also a little bit odd. And if we couple that with the fact that we don't really understand how these bots work, none of that is a particularly good sign. But anywho, I actually took the liberty of downloading the Expert Advisor and running a quick backtest here. And as we can see, there must be some sort of martingale style system here because it seemingly blew up towards the end. And let's just go through the actual trades to see what in particular it's doing. So yes, this is clearly a grid martingale, but a very aggressive grid martingale. It blew here on, this would have been the 9th of January. So let's go there, 2025. So yeah, okay, perfect. It's clearly a grid martingale system, right? So it's a grid martingale system with a manipulated signal. So, and here we can tell that it blew. So fair enough. It isn't any sort of particularly novel bot. A lot of people make this kind of system, and the price is actually pretty cheap, so perhaps there is a real strategy here, but the manipulation of the signal is not a great idea. If he's selling a martingale for $99 and it was an honest martingale for $99, there probably is something that could be considered, perhaps for a prop account or for a small live account. But there's a few red flags here, namely the signal and the fact that the signal does not look like a martingale either. That's actually maybe a really good point. if this was actually a grid martingale, what we're seeing, we should be seeing very significant dips in the equity curve. We are seeing a few here, but we're not seeing those big dips down and those big things up, right? And moreover, we shouldn't necessarily see these little losses in a grid martingale style curve. It should be actually flatter than this. So the fact that we're not seeing that is not a great sign. Actually, let's go through the actual trades and see if he's scaling. So like, yes, there is some scaling, which is actually a good sign because perhaps there's less manipulation going on. Are they closing at the same time though? There's a few, but let's try and see, let's try and detect a grid. Okay, yeah, boom, here we have a grid. 1, 2, 3, scaling lot size, and they're closing at the same time. So there is some legitimacy here, like we are seeing the scaling of the lot size. He's not manipulating it as much, but I would venture that some of the bigger grids might be being deleted from the signal. That's pure speculation on my behalf, but that could be something that's happening. Let me run a quick visual backtest here, but from what I can see so far, it's a simple grid martingale style system, which is running on the EuroGBP, likely some sort of hard-coded indicator because we're not seeing an actual indicator there. Perhaps he's using a divergence in the GBP USD to the Euro USD in order to kind of toggle how he's entering trades. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so as expected, simple grid martingale system. Perhaps he's running some sort of using alternative data sources from the Euro USD and the GBP USD, but it's a fairly straightforward strategy, nothing particularly special there. The one downside is that the equity curve, in my opinion, in the live signal does not seem to match just how grid martingale something like this would be. And we're not seeing these same like magnitude of dips. Moreover, the fact that it did blow up even in this short backtest is likely also not a good sign. And if we couple that with the kind of the community chiming in that this might not be the best provider of expert advisors, so just be mindful of that too. And what I'm saying is that there's plenty of bots which do a very similar strategy on the market, which are likely more credible. So you might be better off going with those bots for now, and just always be careful. Like, nothing wrong with perhaps using a martingale in certain situations, but you need to kind of be forthcoming with, this is a martingale, this is how it works, and just be radically transparent. I don't think that's what we're seeing here, so I might skip this bot and instead look for something which is a bit more interesting. Guys, leave me a comment if you thought anything about this video, and talk to you soon. Bye.